I've never met Jim Carrey in my life or anything like that, but I've seen some clips of him, and he seems like a really cool guy. Obviously, I find him pretty funny, and if you've seen any of his movies, then you probably enjoyed them as well. And the title of today's video is, excuse me, being a yes man and the good and bad that come with that. And so, if you've seen the movie Yes Man, the movie with Jim Carrey, kind of, if you haven't seen it, I don't want to spoil too much about it, but kind of the premise of the movie is saying yes to more things. So Jim Carrey plays a role as, I guess, a banker or a loan officer in a bank, and he's really kind of a downer. He says no to a lot of things. He likes to just work, go home, isolate himself, and his life just kind of sucks, to be honest. In the beginning of the movie, he's still really focused on his ex-girlfriend. He can't quite get over his ex-girlfriend, and he just says no. His buddies always try to invite him out to go hang out with them, go to the bars, and he just keeps saying no. And well, long story short, if you haven't seen the movie, he gets invited to this conference and basically just saying yes to everything, right? And he ends up saying yes after that. He makes it his life mission to just continue to say yes. So he goes around, does all these crazy things, and meets a new girl, and the rest is kind of history. I don't want to spoil too much. You haven't seen it, but I do recommend, if you haven't watched Yes Man, go probably rent it or something for pretty cheap. But I want to talk more about how we can use that movie as a way to kind of live our life a little bit better, and maybe the good and bad of being a quote-unquote yes man. So from my experience, and I talked about this in a previous video, is, I don't want to necessarily isolate myself from the world. I have a tendency of isolating myself a little bit and saying no a lot. And I think once you get older, once you start having a job, you're working at least 40 hours a week, you come home from work, you just don't want to do anything for the most part. You hang out with whoever, if you have a spouse or a partner or whatever, you just hang out with them. And I think that kind of life can get very monotonous. But I do think there's something pretty cool about just being spontaneous and saying yes to more things. Like whether or not somebody's asking you to go to the bars or go somewhere, I mean, you say yes if you want, of course, right? If that's not your thing, it's not your thing. But saying yes to more things, I think, will help us have a little bit more joy and break up that monotony in our life a little bit. And in that movie, in Yes Man, he starts taking guitar lessons. He took like pilot lessons. He took like a yoga class, I think. I don't even know. I don't even know all the things that he did, but he pretty much said yes to every. Oh yeah, he gave a homeless man his cell phone. He gave money to him. He gave a homeless man a ride, and I won't spoil what happens after that. But I think with anything in life, especially if you have the viewpoint that everything in life happens for a reason, I think being a yes man or saying yes to things more will bring better things into your life, right? Because it almost has to, because there's not a lot that can happen in your life if you just go from work, back home, go to sleep, go to work, back home, go back to sleep. There's no variety, and there's nothing that can happen. While it is a pretty safe, life to live, I think we just miss out, because I think there's just so many incredible things out there in this world that we don't get to experience because we're locked up in an office for 8 hours a day, and then of course we sleep the other 8 hours of the day. And if you have to commute and this and that, by the time you get home, you get like 4 or 5 hours to yourself, and it's dark and it's cold, depending on what time of year it is. So I'm not saying that I'm going to live my life like Jim Carrey did and saying yes to everything. A lot of what he did does take a little bit of money, of course, like taking lessons, guitar lessons, flying lessons, but taking it from a practical standpoint, it's just saying yes more, getting out of our comfort zone a little bit more. And that, I'm going to try doing that as well. And then kind of the second half of this video, I want to talk about maybe the good and the bad of being a yes man, because I think you could also think of being a yes man as somebody who is a people pleaser and always says yes to things that, he or she doesn't want to do. And I've been in that boat before. I've been kind of a yes man for the majority of my life, like always wanting to please people, never enjoying confrontation. And I think there are goods and bad with that, because I think saying yes to things that you really want to do, when either it comes to trying new things or exploring or just seeing the world from a different light, I think is really good. Now, the downside of being a yes man, and I think the way that it can go south really quick, is if you are just saying yes to please others, right? So maybe hanging out with toxic friends, going out with them, drinking, doing things you may not want to do, is what I would consider maybe the bad side of being a yes man. And other than that, I don't think there's too much else bad with it, because especially if you're somebody who's used to just saying no to a lot of things, saying yes to a thing here or there, I think will help with what's the word? Is it spontaneity? That doesn't seem right. Being more spontaneous is what I'm going for. And I think it'll help, bring a little bit more positivity and happiness into your life. I'm going to talk a little bit more about happiness in another video and reference another movie. If you can guess what that movie might be, kudos to you. But in my life right now, being 28, being stuck in a little bit of a rat race when it comes to work and stuff like that, I think saying yes to more things, getting out, and just enjoying myself is something I want to do more of. And it's not that you have to go out and do that and spend like a ton of money, because I think when people say yes to things, you got to go like, spend money at a bar or go to like a sporting event that costs like $50 a ticket or more, something like that. But I think we could all say yes to more. And I think if you've watched Yes Man, the movie, you understand how his life really essentially starts turning around when he says yes more. And also you'll notice his mood, Jim Carrey's mood throughout that movie. It just gets so infectious. Like there's so much positivity, and it's not fake. Right? Like the premise of the movie, his whole ideology of saying yes to everything is a little bit fake, because he did say yes to things he didn't necessarily want to do, right? Like he didn't want to give that homeless man a ride or let him talk on his phone or give him money. But, at the end of that, there was a good thing that came out of it. And so I think we should live our life not necessarily saying yes to expect good things, but saying yes to have new experiences and building potentially some really positive experiences that we'll look back on and think like that was a highlight of my life. So anyway, let me know if this is something that hits home for some of you, being more of a yes man, and how it has changed your life, or if you want to start trying to say yes to more things, and kind of, if that is something that you're looking to do, kind of how that might change your life going forward. So anyway, that's all from me. Got more videos coming up. Appreciate everybody watching. I'll talk to you soon.